this night together. Sharing this together. You know, I know you can be doing a million things. There's so many things that pull at you, right, during this season. So many opportunities, and this party, then this gathering, and this thing, and this thing, and this church event, this thing, and then you guys spend this night with us and share this Saturday night together. And Tyler meets the world, and so I thank you so much. What a great spirit in you. Thank you. And get to be here 2 nights is awesome for me. Choosing city after city after city, and so get to spend a little time here today. It's so good. Everybody has their favorite Christmas memory, right? I mean, if I went and gave you the microphone and said, okay, tell me your favorite Christmas memory, you probably can think of it pretty quick. It's probably when you were young, probably when something went wrong. That's usually what happens when you do the good stuff at Christmas, right? And it all goes wrong. For me, I have this memory that is just I will never forget it as long as I live. I grew up, you know, when I was a kid, it was in Grand Saline, and we would go to my grandmother's in Bullard every Christmas on Christmas Day. And on the way back, we would drive down Old Jacksonville Highway to right by this house in Flint, Texas. And it was this house that had these lights, these Christmas lights, and they did it up better than me, okay? Let's be real, they were probably back then, the only house that had lights. There wasn't a lot of things going on. You know, and Grand Saline, Bullard, about the same, you know, one red light, Dairy Queen. I think Grand Saline's got a Sonic now, big time. This is huge. When I was growing up, it was one red light, Dairy Queen, Bullard. I'm not even sure. I think it was a blinking light. And at that time, this was like, but there was this house. We loved to see the lights, right? And we were so fired up as little boys. I had 2 brothers, and so we were just so fired up to see this house every year, because it would get bigger and bigger every year. So we'd be like, Dad, okay, we'd go to Grandma and Grandpa's, on the way back, let's go see the lights. And we couldn't wait to see this house. This one year we were headed there, and I guess it got more popular. And maybe some of you went to see the same house. It probably did. And it was like, it became one of those houses, you know, that like, it had nothing to do with Christmas anymore. They put Star Wars stuff out here. They put leftover Halloween out here. You know, it was like, whatever. It was, but for a kid, you're like, I couldn't wait to see. You know, what was going to be there this year. Trains, everything going through. Well, we get there this year, and there's this long line of cars. And it just, you know, and my dad, instantly gets frustrated. I don't know if you have a dad. This used to be our thing, you know? And now everybody in Tyler knows about this, and we are in a long line of cars. And it's been a long Christmas day, and here we are sitting in this long line of cars. My dad's right, it's gonna be just fine, don't worry about it. And so we was like, we just want to see the lights. We can see it in the distance. It's all lit up. We can see it's bigger than ever. It's like the Griswolds. We can see it. It's gonna be next time. Getting closer and closer and closer. And then as we're getting closer, my dad, he sees this. He notices something. He sees this guy in the front yard. I guess it's his house. It's of the lights. And as we're getting closer, the guy is holding a bucket in the front yard. And as every car comes up, he is putting the bucket in the window and pulling the bucket out. Now, this sets my dad off. I don't know if he had that. He's like, boys, this is what's wrong with Christmas. This is what's wrong with America. It's greed, greed, greed. He starts giving us a speech, you know. It's like, they've set us up all these years. It's been a setup. It's been free all these years. And now they want money. I got a car in front of me. I got a car behind me. I can't get out of the line. What are we going to do? And I was like, Dad, it's probably expensive to run these lights. Let's just give him $1. Like, we want to see the lights. We're fired up. He's like, and my dad, when he would get mad, he just breathed heavy and didn't say a lot. So we did that front yard in the front seats. You just hear this. Get closer and closer. And then my dad has this genius idea. He says, all right, boys, here's what we're going to do. There's 3 boys in the back. We're in a Chevy Caprice Classic. I don't know if anybody remembers the Chevy Caprice Classic. It was like the police car, okay? It was a big Chevy Caprice Classic. And he's like, here's what we're going to do, boys. When we're going to get up there, we get up there, he said, I'm going to roll the window down. And I don't know if you remember this, but you've never seen this, but cars, you used to do this. Like they would do this. And the window would come down, it's unbelievable. And then we do this, and the window would go back up. It's unreal. And it was this amazing moment. And so Dad guy sticks the bucket in the car. He goes, I'm rolling the window up on his arm. We're taking the money and we're out of here. And me and my brothers, I'm not lying. We just get down in the floorboard. We're just like, we're going to jail on Christmas. Like, we're not really serious. He's really serious. He's really upset. We're like, Dad, don't do this. He goes, no, I'm going to teach this guy a lesson. I'm like, oh my gosh. And so we're getting closer, and he goes, boys, you ready? We're next. I'm like, no, Dad, we are not ready. Our heads are down. We're looking at each other. My brother's like, I can't believe this. I can't believe this. We're the next in line. We hear Dad roll down the window. This guy comes up. He sticks the bucket in the car. And it is filled with candy canes. The bucket is filled. We don't know what's happening. We don't know what's happening. All we know is candy canes start falling down on us. This guy's looking at my dad going, Merry Christmas, sir. I cannot believe you waited this long line of cars just to see the lights. Look at those precious boys. And he's just throwing candy canes in the car. Just Merry Christmas. And we're just like, what's happening? I don't know what's happening. It's a Christmas miracle. We got candy canes falling down on us. We're just going, and then I can just sit. I look at my dad and he's sinking down in the chair. He's getting lower and lower and lower. And then he takes off, and then that car takes off. We're in the floorboard. We never saw the lights of the house. We've got about an hour drive home. And I don't know what the rules of your family. We have rules in our family when this kind of stuff happens. You don't say a word. You just kind of and you just hear Dad breathing in the front. And so I look to my mom for cues. You know, look to my mom for cues. The smile on her face, I'll never forget it. She's just like, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened in our marriage. This is my favorite. This is the most amazing moment of my life. She's loving this. You know when you gotta cry in church, you gotta laugh in church, it makes it worse, and like you can't because everything's so quiet and you got water coming out of your eyes because you want to cry so bad. It laughs so much, and my brothers and I were just like look at each other. We just start eating the candy canes really loud. What do we say? We drive for an hour, Bullard to Grand Saline, and not a word is said. Get home, Dad goes right to his room, not a word is said. I think it was like 3 Christmases before we talked about this as a family. And I love sharing that, and I especially I get to share it all over. But never have I got to share that story with my dad in the room. And so, Dad, I'd love for you to stand if you would. Just for you. Would you please stand? Everybody, stand please. This is my dad right here. That's as East Texas as it gets right there. And my mom and sitting next to him, I think my brother is. Where's my brother? Where's Ryan? Where are you standing, Ryan? But one of my brothers. That you remember? And it's 100%, right? They look over candy canes. But you can't make these things up. And so Dad, just in front of everybody, Dad, in front of the entire, all of East Texas, I would like to just say, thank you so much for giving me that story. And little did you know that your son would one day write songs and travel. And I remember, I didn't say that. I remember a couple years ago, I said, Dad, I went to these Christmas tours, and I was thinking about sharing the candy cane story. And he was like, no, you're not going to share that. I think it would be perfect. And I was like, all over the nation, Dad, I get to share this. And it's fun, but never with Dad in the room. And so it's like, this is the best of all. This is the best. So it's fun, you know. That's all the Christmas and all the family stuff and all the mess, you know, messiness of family, right? You get together, you see uncles you haven't seen in years, and you when you're around them, you realize why you haven't seen them in years, and all those kind of things. All the things that Christmas brings, right? And I remember, like, years, me and my brothers, I come back to Texas, we would go to Christmas, and at some point, for quite a few years, we'd be like, hey, Dad, you know, you should probably go by that house and see if they need some money. Gotta need some help. And it's just so fun, those kind of things. But I started thinking, as I got older, and I started thinking about Christmas, and thinking about that story, and it always made me laugh, and thinking about that. And I started thinking about, wow, you know, in some ways, this is just like the Christmas story. There was this little town, Bethlehem. One red light, Dairy Queen kind of town, right? Out of the way. And the greatest surprise the world has ever seen happened. I always thought about this: Christmas is God's great surprise. Just when you think God was one way, maybe you think that that the world is saying, man, God's a taker. Life is not fair, and it's just a take. It's just take. God's a taker. And in that moment, in that manger place, in that stable in Bethlehem, in that little town, it was God saying, I'm not a taker, I'm a giver. For God so loved the world that he gave, not that he took. God so loved the world that he gave his only son. There's something about Christmas that puts us in the spirit of giving, right? You just want to give, you want to help, you want to look at your neighbor and reach out. It's that time of year where you're like, how can I help? And that started because of what God has done, what he's given us. He's given us more than we could ever give. His son has given us life, he's given us life everlasting. The greatest gift of all. I just love that every Christmas we can remember that. You know, we don't have much longer tonight, and just these last couple songs, I would just love to just fill this place with just gratefulness and thankfulness and worship. This song we're about to sing is not a Christmas